So I was looking at the Paddy Pimblett Bobby Green story, and I was going to do a little bit about that because I think it is quite interesting, and we will get to that in a few minutes. But when I jumped in and I started like pulling up a few articles, this one came up about Dana White not being very happy with Paddy Pimblett's eating and his weight gain because it's making him extremely hard to book on a short-term fight schedule. And when you read down the article, you can see that Chael Sonnen weighs in on it as well. So we're going to touch on all them little bits and pieces. Before I do, if you could subscribe, that would be awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So let's have a little read off of this here. I feel like the headline is a little bit watered down. UFC President Dana White outlines consequences of Paddy Pimblett's weight gain. Paddy Pimblett weighs over 200 pounds 3 weeks on from his latest fight. I think they're saying that he pumped on about 45 pounds in 3 weeks. And all jokes aside and all hate aside, or whatever you want to say in terms of my feelings toward Paddy, I've said it a million times, I think he's a good fighter. I think he's a very good fighter. Just extremely annoying. That's about it. Saying that, a lot of his interviews and a lot of his appearances in the last week in the San Diego UFC event, he seemed a little bit more subdued. Maybe it's the weight that's slowing him down, or maybe it's the fact that Molly McCann, who's probably an even heavier weight to carry around, wasn't with him, because he seemed a little bit more relaxed. He seemed a lot more tolerable, and I actually watched his press conference the other day and thought it was good. I actually liked his answers. Very likable dude. Again, no hate, just criticism of behavior. That's about it. White has admitted that Pimblett's eating habits make problematic for UFC matchmaking when trying to book a fight. That's understandable. It's completely understandable, especially if you're looking for someone to be able to jump in on short-term notice. That's not going to happen with Paddy. He needs a lot of time, and he's brilliant at doing it. He's brilliant at cutting weight. Again, you have to give credit where credit is due. He's absolutely excellent at going from where he is down. I understand it. Not everyone wants to be as strict or as disciplined. It is what it is. But Dana goes on to say here, it makes it tough for us when we're matchmaking room and we can't throw a fight together. Maybe we can throw him on a card in a month or a month and a half, but it hurts us to know that we have to be very specific when we're planning his fights because he's nowhere near close to weight. What you don't want to do is put pressure on people to cut that much weight in a short amount of time, because we know that's not good for you and we know that that's dangerous. Fluctuating and cutting weight up and down is very bad for you, and it definitely doesn't prolong your career. It's tough on the body and your organs, but listen, he's a grown man. He can do whatever he wants. It's none of my business. It's up to him. It's his life. It's his career. It's his body. He can do whatever he wants. Dana's been a little bit blasé because they have a lot invested in Paddy, so you can tell that when he overtly comes out and makes a statement like this, that he knows is going to go to press, and he knows that it is calling out Paddy to an extent, especially given the fact that, you know, it didn't take very long. I mentioned it maybe a month or two ago, maybe 3 months ago in a video, that the eating habits weren't great, cutting weight like that wasn't great. People destroyed me. It is what it is. Now all of a sudden we have the top brass at the UFC. We've got Dana White, we've got Chael Sonnen, all chiming in saying, yeah, that's not exactly the way to prolong your career. 2 or 3 months ago it was extremely funny and it was all part of the gimmick. It was all part of the hype train. Watch how heavy he gets and watch how quick he loses the weight. And there's potential for some better opponents coming up. All of a sudden it's a massive problem that doesn't prolong your career. And let me just tell you that seeing the way this narrative is going to play out, and if we get to a stage where Paddy fights someone like a Bobby Green or a Terence McKinney, someone like that, if it does get to a stage like that, the issue of food will be getting brought in a lot more. You can guarantee that. Almost every pundit, especially if he loses, will be touching on the fact that he doesn't stay in condition when he's out of camp. It's going to come to the forefront of the hype train, I'm telling you. Just mark my words. Let me read on here. There's a great picture there of Paddy baiting down an old chop or something like that. Looks nice. Despite piling on over 45 pounds after his fight, Pimblett has never missed weight in the MMA career. And fair play to him because he's extremely good at what he does in terms of the weight cut. Former UFC title challenger Chael Sonnen thinks that Pimblett's eating habits make him look foolish and has urged him to be more disciplined. Paddy and the weight gain has got to stop. It makes him look foolish. Eventually that's going to bite him in the ass. People are going to say that he wasn't disciplined and he eats too much and too many donuts. The whole thing is weird and very nerdy. I didn't read that part. That's a weird one. What a guy eats, or if he likes to eat jelly donuts, is just weird thing to talk about. It's nothing interesting about this, Sonnen said on his YouTube channel. Whoa, Chael is going in hard there, man. I'm surprised at that. I'm surprised. Let me go back and read that again. People are gonna say he wasn't disciplined and he eats too many donuts. The whole thing is weird and very nerdy. What a guy eats, or if he likes to eat jelly donuts, it's just a weird thing to talk about. There's nothing interesting about this. Wow. 2 months ago it was all part of the narrative, right? It was all very jovial. It was all very, oh, that's just Paddy. Now it's nerdy and weird. And now we have Dana White calling it out. And we have Chael calling him a fool if he continues to do it. It's an interesting story. And as I said, when I started this video, I wanted to talk about Bobby Green, and we kind of deflected over here to where Dana and Chael attacked Paddy. But the Bobby Green story on the weekend was that, let me jump over here. Bobby Green secretly records video of Paddy Pimblett doesn't confront the UFC fathead out of respect for his lady friend. I won't play the video because, to be honest with you, it was a bit shitty. You know, I was disappointed in Bobby Green. You know, his style in terms of like extremely good hands, really quick on the feet. Lost his last fight to Islam. That's understandable. It was short notice. He jumped in, he got the UFC out of a hole, and you know, he got grounded and mounted really easy. I don't think he's a high level jiu-jitsu practitioner. I think he's like a blue belt or something like that. But you know, so that's kind of a given that he was going to lose to Islam anyway. But before that, he's beaten people like Ali Quinta and looking extremely good on the feet. So I do like him. So I was kind of disappointed. And he's got a big character. He's just as big of a character. He's probably not as big of a character as Paddy Pimblett, but he's a big character in terms of like, you know, this guy cuts a great promo, and he's on the Joe Rogan podcast. He speaks really good. He backs it up in the ring. So, you know, in terms of Paddy Pimblett versus Bobby Green, that's very interesting to me. But I don't think this is the right way to go about getting the fight. I think this was really weird. I think this was really shitty. You know, like videotaping someone from behind when he's there with his bird watching a show, and then kind of doing some sort of clandestine call out or whatever. I didn't think it was great. You know, I didn't think it was a good look for him. And a lot of people online didn't think it was a good look for him. And as I said, I would love to see Paddy step up and fight some bigger names, and then we can really judge where he is going forward. But I mean, to wrap everything up, and you can let me know your thoughts down below, do you think that the hype train is slightly being derailed by the fact that the eating has become weird and nerdy and foolish? Do you think that that's actually a thing? Do you think that's going to come and play into his career going forward? Or is he just going to curtail the whole lot of it when bigger opponents present themselves? Let me know your thoughts down below, and thank you for watching. Cheers.